Hey guys, Ashley here with another episode of Adventure School, the series we do that invites on well-traveled guests to share their tips and tricks for how to adventure easy. So today we are going to have on, let me invite her, her name is Katherine, and she goes by the name of the 5 Kilo Traveler. Let me get her in here. Dun, 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 dun. So, her name or her Instagram handle is the 5 Kilo Traveler, and it's that because she travels with usually 5 kilos, which is a very small amount. Actually, I don't know why I didn't prepare this already. I should have known what 5 kilos was off the top of my head in pounds. I don't know. So maybe Katherine knows. But anyway, so she'll get on here in a second and she'll explain more about what she does. She has a whole website where she helps people. She shares tips on her Instagram account. She has a pick your own bag course, which she instructs you on how to pick a bag for packing light, which actually is a very overlooked portion of the whole traveling light, packing light scenario, that you have to pick a bag that is not going to let you take all the things. Okay, let's see. I think she's going to get on soon. So yeah, so if you allow yourself to have a huge bag, that just gives you more opportunity to overpack. So if you kind of limit yourself in the beginning and you say, okay, this is the bag that I'm going to be bringing, and it's only, it's a carry-on size bag or a personal item or whatever, then you're going to not be able to bring as much stuff. If you let yourself have all that extra room, you're probably going to want to fill it all. So she has a course all about that. You can find her website at the5kilotraveler.com, and that's traveler with 2 L's because she is from New Zealand. So she actually is just waking up right now, whereas here in the U.S., or at least the Western U.S., it's 1 p.m. So we can wait for a second. I invited her, I believe. Let me double check. So hopefully she'll get on soon because I sent her an invite. What else? So let me try to figure out how to fill this time. So she traveled all over the world. She has gone to a lot of places that I've gone a little bit more recently. She's gone like a while back. So she knows how to travel without, or not knows, but she has the experience of traveling before we had cell phone, before we had Google Maps, things like that. And I can just only imagine like how epic that was and how much more of an adventure it was. As much as I wouldn't want to give away my my creature comforts that we have that make traveling so easy nowadays, or at least a lot easier. Okay, Katherine, get on. She just did that before that. Okay. Okay, so she's going to get in here and we will get started. So anyway, I don't know if I already said but we are going to actually talk about clothing and toiletries. So I don't know why it's over. Okay, there it goes. Catherine, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. You can hear me good?
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Okay. I was just telling everyone what we were going to kind of start to go over. So about clothing and toiletries and how you can pack versatile things that are going to help you pack light and adventure a little easier. But before we get started, I want you to kind of talk about yourself and kind of what's your mission and what your drive behind your website and Instagram page is.
Well, back in 2017, I went to Croatia and Italy, and I was by myself for 4 weeks, and I figured that I wasn't taking my husband with me, who would normally help me with my bags, and I needed everything to be safe and secure, and I also had a frozen shoulder at the time that I was recovering from. So I knew that I couldn't handle a suitcase or anything like that. Even something with wheels I knew would actually cause a lot of twisting and turning that I didn't really want to be doing. So I ended up coming up with the idea. It's not original. There are other people that have done it, of course. But I decided to carry my bag. And this is the bag. This is the bag I chose. So it's a 24-litre bag, and it weighed just over 5 kilos, which is just over 11 pounds, about 12 pounds.
Perfect.
And
yeah, and 5 kilos is in pounds. I couldn't think off the top of my head, so I'm glad you said that.
I'm very used to converting it because I'm constantly converting things.
Yeah.
It's probably the most searched up item on my phone is pounds to kilos.
That makes sense though.
Yeah. So I got the bag and filled it with things. Realized that if I chose a smallish bag, I would be restricted to what I took. If I bought a big bag, I would just fill it up. So I decided to get a small bag and make sure that everything fitted in there. And it did, and it served the purpose for keeping things safe and secure and on me and really easy to get around. But it was while I was on the trip that I just realized just how much easier my travels were because I didn't have a huge range of stuff to choose from. It was a minimalist wardrobe, but everything mixed and matched. It took me months to put it all together, and I would weigh things, and it got very scientific. But it was life changing, and I just won't go back to lugging bags again.
I know that feeling very well. I had the same type of experience where once you do it the same way all the time because you're so used to being able to fill that, you're like, oh, okay, I'm allowed to have a bag this big and it can be 50 pounds or 23 kilos, whatever the amount is. You think, okay, that's my limit. Not thinking that that is what makes like the in-between parts of traveling, the getting to place, getting through the airport, that's what makes it such a more daunting experience where when you really limit yourself without having the airport or the airline tell you what the limit is, you really just make it a lot easier. And it seems like a challenge in the beginning. Like you said, it was very scientific. You weighed things. It took a lot of like paring down. But once you get to that point, I think you'll be so thankful. And it sounds like you and I are. So that's awesome. I didn't realize that it was a trip to like Croatia and Italy, and you had the extra challenge of your frozen shoulder. So good for you. I was telling everybody also about your like pack your bag course or your pick your bag course. I don't know if you mentioned that briefly about how you explain to people about picking a bag because you were kind of on that.
Yeah, picking a bag, I think, really is about what's going to work for you. For some people, a pull-along trolley or a bag like that is handy. There are now bags that you can actually carry on your back, and they have wheels on them as well. So you've got it's called a hybrid bag. So it's a mixture of a trolley bag with wheels and a backpack. So you've sort of got that kind of thing. So it's sort of looking at what you need, how you like to travel. Everything is about what works for you. Like I don't want people to go, oh, I have to carry 5 kilos or 11 pounds. Like, because I don't want people hating me. You've got to be realistic. And the other thing is, it doesn't happen all at once. I mean, I carried just under 6 kilos the first time, And whereas now, when I go away, sometimes I carry 3 kilos, or I don't know what that is. That's probably like 5 or 6 pounds or something like that. So it's you learn. It's not a first off, you get it right first time kind of thing. I mean, I carried a pair of shoes to Croatia and Italy that were juice shoes, and I think they weighed about 500 grams. I don't know what that is in ounces. A block of butter. Yeah. It's about I think it's a pound. I'm getting confused now.
Like not even an ounce of an idea of what that conversion is.
But so now I've got lighter shoes. So it's about adapting, and when I need to replace something, I replace it with something lighter.
Yeah. So. And it's kind of a practice thing, just like everything in life. Like the more you do it and the longer you do it, the more things you learn as you go. Like you add things to your so-called toolbox, like the easier it gets. So you got to start somewhere. So why not start by, like you said, just making your bag be the first thing that you kind of pare down. And if you guys want to learn more about how to pick the right bag for you, because like Katherine said, it all depends on multiple different things, like your travel, what kind of things you have to pack, and what you're comfortable with, then go check out her Pick Your Bag course, which you can find on her website, the5kilotraveler.com, and that's traveler with 2 L's. Make sure to say that because here in the US we just use one.
Yeah.
New Zealand, so they got the double L thing. But yeah, so that's kind of the first thing. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is about choosing the right clothes and choosing the right toiletries. Because those are the two things, and shoes probably, that take the most room in your bag. So kind of maybe we'll start with clothes and then we'll go into toiletries last, because I think the thing that people pack first are the clothes. Because I don't know about everyone else, but for toiletries, you're using some of those things like day to day anyway, so you're kind of packing those like the day of or the day before because you're still gonna have to use them. So what is your thought process that goes into choosing the kind of lightweight items that get to make it into your 5 kilo bag?
So to make it into my packing list, they do have to be lightish. They have to be relatively quick drying. So, but then having said that, I'll go and break my rules straight off. I often travel with a pair of jeans. Now they're not light, and they don't. Well, I actually travel with jeggings, which are a bit lighter than straight jeans, but they do take a while to dry. But the other thing is, we don't have to wash everything after we've worn it once. You can actually air things out, and jeans can be worn for a long time without actually washing. I remember someone telling me that you could stick your jeans in a freezer and that would clean them and kill things. And I thought, yeah, but you try doing that when you're traveling. Oh, do you mind if I just pop my jeans in your freezer?
Oh, real quick, I want to say someone just commented that 30 grams equals 1.05 ounces.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, and then I think 16 ounces is a pound, I believe.
Okay.
In the back of my head, that's what I think it is. So,
yeah.
The shoes were pretty light, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for that.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, though.
So some of the things is about, you might not carry something light, but you're not going to be washing it all the time kind of thing. It's a bit like I might carry a denim jacket. That's not light, but I'll wear it on the plane, and I carry it, if I'm not wearing it, I'd carry it around my waist kind of thing, or and I'm not washing it. So that's but it's not hard and fast rules. But I want them to be quick drying, generally light, and I generally go for natural products like merino, which I talk a lot about, but it's a odor resisting material. It's from wool, from sheep. And of course, in New Zealand here, we love sheep. So I've got to promote our wool industry. Yeah. And it's really, those kind of products are the things that get in. And the other thing is I start with what my base color is. So my base color is blue. So everything sort of has to go with that base color, and I can mix and match. So, and by making things mix and match, and even patterns can mix and match, it just adds layers. Then you can add layers for warmth, or layers for interest, or mixing things up. And of course, my favourite versatile top is this is the Jaisalmer tunic that I'm wearing. You probably can't see, but I've actually added a little tuck here. I did the old hair. I don't have much use for hair ties, but this is my hair tie trick where you dig underneath and you wrap it up and you add a little tuck. So it just changes the look from being a straight t-shirt or a tunic to having a bit of detail to it. So there's things like that. But of course, this top I love because I can turn it around and inside out and different colours. So incredibly versatile.
Which is very important, especially if you're going to be gone for like a little bit longer than a few days, because you can really just take one thing and change it up. And I love how you're showing that you can do the little hair tie trick. You have to send me a picture of that so I can see it a little better. But simple things like that will really change up your outfit. I know when I was traveling for like almost 10 months, I got so bored with, even though I brought 50 pounds of clothes, I got like so annoyed with all of it. I was just wearing the same things over and over again. So like, I think if we looked at my pictures in order of my trip, you would start seeing me do like a little bit like different things towards the end where, yeah, all of a sudden I was wearing all my tops like off the shoulder, or I was like tying them, or using something that wasn't a belt as a belt. And, you know, you kind of start to be like, okay, I want to do something different. And that's how you kind of adapt your clothing to have different uses, maybe. You just kind of get creative. And another thing that you do that I really love is that you bring like really lightweight scarves. And sometimes style it with, oh, okay, so she's going to share that. From here then.
I told you it'd be a show and tell. But your scarves are really versatile. I mean, this is a cotton silk scarf. This is a linen scarf. This is one of my souvenirs from Italy. Oh. And this is a pure silk scarf from Australia. And the good thing particularly with silk scarves or little scarves, is actually they wrap up to literally nothing. So, you know, that's really tiny. So they don't need to be bulky. But scarves can really change a look. So, you know, all of a sudden you can pretend you've got a different outfit on. So,
it's not too warm on you because it's really lightweight scarf to begin with.
Exactly.
Be like a sash. It can be around your neck if you're going into like a temple or something. Now it's like covering your shoulders or whatever. So
your head.
Yeah, exactly. So many different ways to take that. So I love that you can use one accessory that really can like span all the different looks that you want to cover with such footprint. So that's a great tip. Great tip. I remember I brought 2 scarves with me when I traveled for a long time, and that was something that I did too. Is I had like one scarf that was like a little bit warmer, kind of like a pashmina type, and then I had one similar to that where it was like very like thin, but I could use it in so many different ways, and I loved those. I wish I would have taken less clothing and just used those scarves more.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So I recommend that when people are packing for their holidays, you know, for their trip, is lay everything out on the bed and make sure that everything goes with everything else. So don't sort of look at whether things actually can be used in different ways, whether things can be layered. One of the things that I absolutely hate, and I think you might have mentioned this recently, is that I hate being cold.
Yeah.
And I won't go anywhere without a warm, you know, the merino layer, or, you know, the polypropylene or whatever layers people wear, top and bottom. And that's my sort of, you know, being cold is horrible. And you can look ahead at the country that you're going to, and you can plan pretty much what the weather's going to be like, because that actually dictates what you pack as well. But I usually have a layer of merino. It's not just in case, it's actually because I hate being cold.
And there's probably, even if you're going somewhere really hot, there's going to be somewhere that's probably going to be a little chilly, like the plane or something. So at least just have like, and Angie just said yes to multifunction and smart organizing. Thanks, Angie. But we are
absolutely.
And for being cold, so I just went, you know, on a little camping trip this weekend. It was actually a little warmer than I thought. Like, I was worried about being really cold because we were going to be sleeping in the car. And, you know, when the car's off, it's outside and it's somewhere cold, like, it's going to be cold in the car. But it was actually, like, beautiful weather. But I had the new the Bay Reversible sweater. So this was super cute. And it's actually, like, a really good layer of warmth that's just, like, as one layer that's not, like, too much. So that worked out perfectly for me. I wanted to ask you 2 things. Would you consider what you bring a capsule wardrobe? And 2, how do you always have the same like base color, or does it change depending on where you're going?
My base color is the same wherever I go, because like even here at home, blue is my base. I don't wear black, but so yeah, blue is my base, and everything goes with it. And I've become so focused on sort of minimalist packing, minimalist living a little bit as well, because when you go away for 4 weeks and you've only got your bag, you actually realize that you're not missing anything. And, oh, actually, I don't need all that stuff. And you come home and you've got this house full of stuff. You go, oh, my God, there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
And so I really cut down my wardrobe as well. And so anything that comes into my wardrobe, has to be travelable. It has to be light. It has to be good fabric. And it has to go with the other clothes. It needs to be. So I actually had about 6 or 7 years ago, I had my colours done. And because I would just buy random stuff and get it home and go, oh, that actually. You had colours. It's when you go and see someone and they put a white sheet over you or around your neck, and then they tell you what colour tone you are, whether you're a spring or autumn or summer or winter. And then from that, they give you a palette of colours and say, these are your colours. So my colours are blue, and then like peaches, my purple colour is one of my colours. So it just means that it matches your colouring rather than wearing stuff.
That. How do you do that? Is that like a service that is like? Yeah.
It wasn't. It was quite expensive. I gave it to myself for a birthday present, and it was. I think it was about. It's probably about $100 US to do it with this lady. I had an appointment with her, and she gives you a I can't even remember what it was called, but she gives you a little strip of colours to carry around. And when you go to a shop, you look at it and go, oh, yeah, that's not my colour, or that is my colour.
Oh, my gosh. That is so cool. I've never heard of that, but I really like that idea. I kind of want to do it. That's cool. So if you always wear the same base color, does that mean a lot of the stuff that you're bringing that's like on the rack behind you, are you finding yourself bringing a lot of the same things on your trip no matter where you go, or it's still changing?
I really mix it up actually, because I don't want to get bored. But although there's two things. Partly I know what works, so I will take some stuff over and over again, because I know they work. But the other thing is different climates, and sometimes you just want to wear something a bit different that's, or you might just change your mind, or you might go off a top that you used to wear, or you might get new jeans or new shorts or things like that. So I do mix it up. And interestingly how you said, but you were away for a long time, weren't you, with your backpack?
Yeah, like almost a year.
Yeah. See, I was away for 4 weeks, and when I got back, people said, oh, my God, you probably never, ever want to see those clothes again. But actually, I loved those clothes so much. I was comfortable. I could do everything that I needed to in them. The only thing I didn't have on that trip was a sort of a nicer kind of top or outfit for going out at night. So I ended up in Amalfi Coast actually buying a silk top. And funnily enough, I went out for dinner with those girls from the hostel that I met. And went out for dinner, and they said, oh, it's just a local family restaurant up the back of Amalfi. And honestly, everyone was so casually dressed, and I felt out of place for being, in my nice silk top. Yeah. So at the end of the day, no one notices. And sorry, it's just my son going to school.
Hi, having a good dance.
So where was I? Oh, yeah. So even though people don't notice what you're actually wearing, so I would have been perfectly fine in my normal clothes. So
that is true. But you got like another souvenir from Italy, so it probably wasn't the worst.
Absolutely.
Even though I had the same clothes for so long, and I did get kind of bored and got creative wearing it different ways, like that really was like the core set of clothes that like I really loved. And even though I had so much of it, it still kind of was in a capsule wardrobe type or mix and match colors. I really only brought like black, olive green, maroon, white, and gray. It was pretty much all the colors I brought, which I don't know if anyone has ever noticed, but I feel like a lot of those colors come into what I still design. I don't like my colors, but I'm going to consider them my colors because I just like those colors. But yeah, you just you still love them. Hello, thank you for joining. And then Angie earlier too said that she loved blue and it's also her favorite. And I think everyone is just like in awe about this like color service. We're going to have to look into here in the U.S. They give us all color services. I love that. Love that. Oh, and Angie says I have the full spectrum of colors. At least you can pack your like. I think what a lot of people like to do too, which makes it a little harder to pack light sometimes, is they like to base their outfits like on their destination. Like they want to wear tropical prints when they're going somewhere tropical, or something like that. But I think if you kind of have like a base set of things, or even just like a base color, you can really still pack light, but and add new things to that, but build on like a few core items. Like if you always know that you have like an outfit that is really comfortable on the plane, or it just like has the pockets that you need, or whatever, you just really like it, like maybe that's always your plane outfit, or part of it's your plane outfit and then you wear a different sweatshirt every time or whatever. But you can still add in new items like as you buy them and stuff, like you said, but you can always have some items that always work for you. You know how to style it differently, you're comfortable with it, and you don't have to bring something on your trip that you're not going to end up wearing because you don't know what to do with it. So definitely on the bed, like you said, make sure everything goes together, and just a little pre-planning for your trip, because when you leave it to the last minute, that's when you start bringing the just-in-case items. So
I know, exactly. And, if people are at home at the moment and not traveling, now's a really good time to practice your travel capsule wardrobe and, pick out 10 items. So maybe 2 or 3 pairs of pants, 3, T-shirts or tops, and another 3 tops that are like maybe a cardigan or a jacket, and try and work with those things for a week and see how you go. And you'll sort of see that you can mix things up and layer things. And I'm a great advocate for practicing at home before you embark on a big trip and then go, oh dear, I don't have what I needed. But, the good thing is, one of the other tricks is actually deliberately leave something at home. So don't pack any scarves and then buy them when you're there for souvenirs.
That's a good way to be like, okay, this is the souvenir that I know I need to be on the lookout for. And then find something and you probably love it forever because that was something that remind you, like every time you wear it, you can be like, oh, this is from when I was in Italy. It's never going to get old, like having a scarf from Italy. Come on.
Exactly.
He said my standard plain outfit is going to be leggings and the two-way sweatshirt. Oh, thanks, Angie.
Oh, good.
Yes, that is what I usually do. I usually wear like some of the bulky things on the plane, so whether I'm gonna need a sweatshirt the whole time or not, like you bet I'm gonna wear that on the plane just because A, it might be cold, and B, I'd rather have it on me than pack it and take up more precious space. Because then maybe later on in the trip you can just hold the sweatshirt, or like you said, put it around your waist, whatever. So that's my outfit. That's similar to what I would do.
And you don't have to limit packing light just to people often think it's a thing that you do for summer or the off season. But we went to New York back in December 2019. It was freezing there, and I still carried my 5-kilo bag. But I had a woolen felt coat that I wore on the plane and actually used it as a blanket on the plane. And then everything else, I basically wore all my clothes all the time. And they only need airing at night. They don't need washing. Maybe the layers that are closest to my body I'll wash, and of course underwear. But it's actually, you don't need to be washing everything all the time. And we were perfectly warm enough in New York. And Chicago as well, so yeah.
And that's actually, I want to bring that up real quick too. Like when you were talking about the jeans earlier that you don't need to wash all the time, that's actually something a lot of like jean manufacturers or jean brands that actually tell you, like, do not wash your jeans every time you wear them. All you're doing is wearing them down, especially when you're using like washing machines and everything. A little bit of like lint and fabric and whatever actually comes off of the fabric like every time it goes through like a wash and a dry cycle, or there's the potential for it to get more holes or for seam to come undone or whatever, just because it's a harsh process. So the less you're washing things, if you're able to, like, of course, if you got sweaty or smelly or something, like, you probably want to wash it. But if it just needs to be aired out, or if it's something that you can wear again, like, do that. There's been times where I've set out something and just put it on the next day, reversed or not, just because it's fine. Like, especially when you're traveling, want to have to wash things all the time. Of course, there's the option, and you can do a hand wash in the sink or whatever. But if you can get away with not doing it, then just wear it again. You're only on vacation or a trip for so long, so enjoy the most of it.
Yeah.
See one more comment, then we'll move on to the toiletries. So Angie,
Okay.
love the idea of your coat as a blanket for solid warmth, and also to keep things a bit more sanitary with being in these COVID times. Also in total.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would have thought that the airplane blankets are probably, I don't know if they even give them out anymore now.
Yeah, all of a sudden it came out that they were just like giving them out and putting them in plastic bags again, and they never get washed. So very, very interesting. No one ever told us that before, but I don't know if that's true or not. But that was like the rumor that was flying around for a while. So just bring your own cold weather clothes for the airplane. It really is not going to be a huge deal. And if you don't want to wear it, just stuff it in the overhead bin or under your chair or whatever. Or on your lap, put it behind you, whatever. Planes are a weird place, so just come prepared with what you need. But anyway, before we go too long, I wanted to like touch on what kind of toiletries you bring and what you recommend for packing toiletries so that you can travel light.
Okay, so one of my philosophies with toiletries is you don't have to take you need to take what you need, but you can just take less of it. So some people say, oh, but I've got, this, all these different creams and potions and lotions. And I'm not saying actually don't take them all, don't just go down to a moisturizer and a foundation or the blend of the two. Actually just take less of what you've got. So I've got some examples. So first of all, this is an example of the old toiletry bag that I used to have. So it would be full with shampoo bottles and, hair gel and, a full thing of toothbrushes and toothpaste and moisturizers and everything like that. And now I've got that's my little toilet bag there, and everything fits in there. So I'll give you some examples. So for instance, this is my moisturizer that I use. So what I do is I've put it into a little container. So it's now just I think it's about a 15 or 20 ml container. And what I do, and this is where I start getting scientific, is if I'm going away, say for 2 weeks, then what I do is I open it up and I count it out and I go 1, 2, 3. So the amounts that I use every day. So I'm only putting in what I need. And then I'll put another squeeze in extra just in case I got a bit heavy-handed or, I start running out. So that's one of the things I do. So I carry a range of little containers. So these are tiny little containers here. Can you see?
Oh, yeah.
So they're tiny, really tiny. And these are things like, this one is it's a carver gel. It's a New Zealand gel for itchy bites. And I tend to react to insect bites quite badly, so I carry that. So I don't want to be away overseas, get an itchy bite, and then have to go to a chemist and find something that actually I've got at home that I know works perfectly well. So I still take stuff like that I want. I've got hair gel. This is calendula cream, which is good if you get cuts or abrasions and things like that. My toothpaste so instead of the big toothpaste, I take the little toothpaste. Yeah. But I know other people take like the tablets and things like that. And my hair gel, the difference between my hair gel and that is huge. I'm looking for a solid hair gel bar, because liquids versus solids is a big discussion amongst light travellers. And anything that you can take that's a solid, it doesn't have to go in your liquid bag, but also there's less chance of a mess. So when I went to Italy, I took purple shampoo because it kept my hair was blonde at that point. But what happened is it leaked, and I got purple shampoo all through my bag. Well, not my big, just my toilet bag, and it was an absolute mess. So now, if I can find it, this is a little container, and it's got my little shampoo, purple shampoo bar. I only use it sort of twice a week. That's actually a very small but what happens is I do have.
Yeah, Angie, you're right. They are increasingly coming out with solid and patches for hair products. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the shampoo bar that I normally use all the time. And then I just cut off a bit of it when I'm going traveling so that I can still carry it with me. And if I want to be really technical, what I do is I weigh the bar and then I use it for a month, see how much I used in a month, weigh it again at the end of the month, see how much I used at the end of the month, and then calculate that, oh, okay, I need to take 25 grams or whatever it is.
Wow. That is very simple, but that makes sense. I can't think I'm doing that, but I love it.
And another thing is people say, oh, but I like to travel with makeup and stuff like that. So one of the things that I haven't traveled, like I didn't travel to Italy with makeup. I just went a la natural. But these kind of little palette things where you can, it's got there's very need replacing, but you've got, concealers and a foundation and a shiny thing and lipstick and things like even this little lipstick at the end is actually lipstick and cheek color. So it's doing things like that. They're just a bit simple. Or when you've got something that you're using and it gets down to the last dregs, rather than using those last dregs, actually save it. So for instance, my eyebrow pencil, which is absolutely right at the end of its life, I keep that in my kit too. That goes with me. Yeah.
Really smart. Yeah, I think everyone thinks that you need to just go out and get like the travel sizes of everything, which let's be honest, a lot of times the travel sizes are almost as expensive as the full size ones in some cases. So you don't need to spend money getting the travel size. You can actually, like Katherine does, just get like a small container and just put some of your creams or toothpaste or whatever, or convert to getting something in solid forms. Because if you take, I can't say that I've tried it yet. It's on my list of something I want to do, but I do want to try the toothpaste tablets. Because if you think about it, if you're gonna spend 3 days, if you're gonna brush your teeth twice a day, that's 6 times. You can bring 6 tablets. So
exactly.
They're like tiny, so you only have to bring a few. And I am very much the type too where I'm traveling, I am like cutting down on makeup, I'm cutting down on products. I have like a full 9-step skincare regime I do at home, but when I'm traveling, it's like moisturizer and face wash. Like I don't go crazy. But when I'm at home, I can do all that, so I do. But I don't want to make anything more complicated with packing. But yeah, just bring a little amount, maybe do what Katherine does too, and kind of not only limit your bag, but limit your toiletry bag too, and try to get as many small containers or small items or solid things to really make it simple. Because remember, if you're doing carry-on only, you're only allowed to have a small, whatever the quart-sized bag is, with, what is it, 3 ounces or 100 milliliters? I don't know.
Yeah, 100 milliliters.
Oh, and Angie said, I have some, we'll give you an update. Oh, thank you. Yes, definitely let us know. Because she says she has, Lush has some shampoo bars, some bomb bars as well. Super cool. I know, I need to go to Lush. Everyone always talks about Lush, and I always see the stores. I just never go there. Oh, someone said,
I find I can't go into the Lush stores. They are really powerfully smelly, and I can't go near them. So yeah, I use a New Zealand brand called Atique, and they do a whole range. They do this is a moisturizer that you can, so it's solid. They do a solid moisturizer. They do they do little these are the little sample boxes that they give you, and they're shaped in a heart. And this is the deodorant. So often I use this as my deodorant when I go. I either use that or a small crystal bar for a deodorant. But the little sample sizes of that company are really good sizes, and they're not powerfully smelly or anything.
It's that same on the scent in Lush, that they're too strong a little bit. Another thing I do, which is kind of a little like when you talk about sample sizes, is when I go to the dentist and they give you those little kits of the toothbrush and the toothpaste, and the toothpaste is always little. I'm like, okay, this is going to the side because that is definitely what I'm taking on a trip. I'm not going to buy little size, but if I'm going to the dentist every 6 months, I'm going to get 2 of these a year, so that'll be
Absolutely, absolutely. And then one other thing,
a Technique brand. What is it called? How do you say the brand?
a teak. Oh, does that come out backwards? It's ETHIQUE.
Okay, we'll have to look.
It's a New Zealand brand, but it is in Australia. I think it's in America, Japan, England. So other countries, I think in Germany as well. And it's all online, of course. So, but it's got great. The sample sizes are really good, particularly when you're looking at the shampoos and conditioners, moisturizers. Very, very clever. And they've also got a laundry bar, and I mean it comes in the same size as this box here. In fact, this is the laundry bar box, and that the flash laundry bar is actually one of the ones that I use when I have to label my box, the flash bar, but it fits in this little tiny box. And the other one I used for laundry was Dr. Bonner's one, the one that it says you got 100 uses for this one bar. So you can use it as a dishwashing liquid, a body wash, a shampoo, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And then someone asked me if you could use it as a toothpaste, and I thought, well, in the spirit of testing things, I'll check it. Do not do it. It tasted absolutely foul.
Oh my gosh. At least you tried. But yeah, probably not something that we should recreate again. Said Snowberry is another good New Zealand brand. I don't know if you've heard of it. Snowberry? What's
that one?
Snowberry?
Oh, I haven't heard of that one, no.
We'll have to look into that one too.
Yeah.
So I think that was great. I think everyone's saying that these were great tips. Oh, and Empty Nest Coach said you are brave.
Thank you, Christine. And just another quick thing is this is a first aid kit, because that often goes with your toiletries as well. So like I carry, and this is a thing about wanting to do what works for you and not just sticking to a list that someone else makes for you. So for instance, I like to carry homeopathy and essential oils. I like the smell and I like the homeopathy. It's part of my first aid kit. But the homeopathy bottles are this big, like they're tiny. Yeah. So, but I get quite a few doses. And then with my first aid kit, I mean, there's normally a crate bandage in there, but there's just a few things of each thing. Like there might be a 10 of Panadol, 10 of ibuprofen, or a few Comfeel, or blister patches or some plasters, just enough to get me through 24 hours until I can get to a place to actually buy what I really need. And I mean, I'm a nurse, and one of the things so I sort of feel a bit that I have an obligation to have a few extra things on me. So I have gloves, but I used to, when I went to Italy, I decided that, I don't know if you've ever seen those big wound dressings when people get a big gash and they get this big wound, and I thought, oh man, they take up so much space. So I ended up taking a couple of sanitary pads, and if people need to use those, I can shove them on a wound because they're super absorbent.
No, that's a great idea. Like, it's good that you're coming prepared not only for yourself, but in case of an emergency. That's super nice of you. I love that. So
I very rarely use my first aid kit on me. It's always on someone else.
Yeah. But that's nice, because not everybody's always going to think of all those things, but it's nice that you are, and this is a great tip for everyone else out there. Like, just bring a few little safety items, like you said, some ibuprofen, some Band-Aids, maybe some creams or something. Just because, in that moment, if you're hurt or in pain or whatever, you're going to want to wish you had all that stuff, and they take up such little space. So if you're going to bring a toilet, throw a few extra things in there. This week, when we traveled around the world, I had a safety kit too. It was just like like a pre-made kit. Like I didn't make my own, but it was small, just the essentials. And I put that in the camper when we used to go camping in our little pop-up trailer. And I haven't seen that thing in months because we sold it, but I knew I took it out. And so this weekend when we went camping, I found it, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to take this again. And it reminded me like, oh yeah, we should be taking some of these items all the time just in case, especially if we're staying or kind of off the beaten path, not close to stores or other people all the time. So that is some great tips for the products and for how to pack and for the first aid kit and everything. So I just want to remind everybody that Katherine's website is the5kilotraveler.com, and that's traveler with 2 L's. She has a pick your bag course. She has so many tips on how to travel light and how she picks things, and I love her Instagram. She's full of like funny little stories and just like inspirational messages about traveling and everything. So definitely go give her a follow. It's at the 5 Kilo Traveler. And that's all that we've got. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I think you've said it all. I do on my website have a free packing checklist. And it's got 2 pages. One's the actual checklist and that you can adapt, and then but the front page has sort of got the I guess the key principles of packing light. So if anyone wants, you just need to sign up for the newsletter. But yeah, if anyone wants it, just pop on over there and grab it.
Love that.
It's been fantastic. I've loved it. It's been so good. And I mean, I love talking traveling light. I mean, as you do.
We could talk all day. And if you guys have questions for her, like definitely pop over and send her a DM or go check out her website, see if she has the answer. But I think that's all we've got. So thank you so much, Katherine, for joining me. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.